Our trip started at the Assateague Island National Seashore Visitor Center. This place is pretty cool. It has a lot of information about the island, how it formed over the thousands of years, and the types of animals and plants you'd find on it. There was one exhibit about coins that washed up from a recovered shipwreck. This shipwreck probably happened around the time when explorers were coming to the New World. There was also a fish tank that had a lot of fish and sea animals that you would find near and around the island. After checking out the visitor center, we headed over the bridge to Assateague Island. This was a pretty cool bridge. It took a while to go over. Once we got to the island, we actually saw the first and only horse the whole trip. Usually when I come to Assateague Island, I see about 10 or 20 horses, but this was the only one, so hi and goodbye. Once we got to our campsite, we immediately started setting up our tents. It's easier to set your tent up during daylight than after dark, so we got our tent set up, unpacked our stuff, and then took a walk out to the beach. This is the Atlantic Ocean, so the views are dramatic. The beach spanned endlessly to our left and our right. It was awesome being here. We spotted a horseshoe crab. It wasn't alive, but horseshoe crabs are pretty cool, and I'll talk more about those in another video. After checking out the beach, we walked inland on the island to the Life of the Forest Trail. This is a pretty cool trail because it doesn't talk about the seaside as much as it talks about the forest on the island and the animals that live within it. There were tons of different animals that we saw. The canopy of the forest is mainly pine trees. We saw a few deciduous trees with leaves, but it was mainly red and white pine trees. The boardwalk took us to the other side of the island. On this side was Assateague Bay. So if you remember your landforms, we were just looking at an ocean, we're on an island, and we're looking out at the bay. The bay is a pretty cool place to explore. We were on a boardwalk, but there were also people out in the bay kayaking. That's an awesome way to enjoy Assateague Island. I've never kayaked here, but hopefully one day I will. We saw a lot of cool birds too. We saw a blue heron, which is this massive bird that has a long beak and is able to hunt and fish for fish in the bay. After checking out the bay, we took the boardwalk back towards the other side of the island where our tents are. Once we got back to the campsite, we decided to start cooking. So we got our campfire going and started preparing the food. We brought some steaks for dinner, as well as some potatoes and onions. One of the coolest things about camping is being able to cook over an open fire. The sunset was incredible. We sat around the campfire, waiting for it to get really dark out. Then, we walked on the boardwalk out to the ocean to watch and look for some stars. We agreed to wake up early to watch the sunrise the next day, but we all kind of slept in a little bit. It was still a beautiful morning though. We had some coffee and enjoyed the sights for the last time before we headed out from Assateague Island. On the way home, we stopped at a place called Bombay National Wildlife Refuge. This is located in the state of Delaware. Bombay Hook is a wildlife refuge. There's a lot of animals there, but specifically, there are a lot of birds. Bombay Hook is a place where birds on migration paths like to stop. This is a map of all the migration ways birds take from North and South America. After we checked out the visitor center, we headed out to another boardwalk. This boardwalk took us through some of the marshlands. There are ticks out here, so we had to be careful not to get those. Remember, ticks cause Lyme disease. Fall is transitioning towards winter, so a lot of animals' migrations are over. So we didn't see much. But it was still a beautiful day to get outside. This was an incredible trip. From Assateague Island to Bombay Hook, we spent a lot of time outside enjoying nature. I can't wait for the next time I'm able to come back to these two places.